The Podbreed Network is strictly for the small podcasts that are up and coming in the vast world of podcasting. Podbreed is made up of many diverse podcasts, coming together to achieve the same goal of being the best damn podcast network on the planet. Find out more at podbreed.com.
This is Kirk Franklin, and I just want to say these damn kids don't appreciate shit. You just had to whoop their ass and kick them on their fucking neck and knock their motherfucking ass out. I'm sorry. I apologize. This is Kirk Franklin. You listen to the X and Y show.
The opinions expressed on the X and Y show are the sole opinions of the host. Please note, there is no intentional desire to offend any member of the listening audience. With that said, if you still feel offended, tough shit.
It's time for the X and Y show with your host, Mr. Roosevelt. He talks about man topics, lady topics, and relationships. He talks about love, sex, and infidelities. He even gives good tips. There is no other show that compares to the X and Y show.
Oh yeah. Sit back, take your clothes off, and relax. It's time for the X and Y show, where real relationship issues are talked about and addressed. The only place on the planet that tackles the topics that everyone wants to talk about, but no one is brave enough to address. Nothing escapes X and Y, baby. Now, here's your host, Roosevelt Colbert.
And greetings. Welcome to another segment of the X and Y show. I'm your host, Roosevelt, and I'm so glad to be here. It is still the month of June. As you know, if you've been listening to the X and Y show, I hate the summer. Everything about it is hot, hurricanes, just a terrible time of year. The only good thing about it, you get to see women in bikinis and, shit like that. So, that makes it a little worth it. But I hate this time of year. I really do. So, I don't know. It's a little depressing for me right now. I really hate this time of year, but gonna get through it. We're all gonna get through it. And the closer we get out of the summertime, the closer the holidays come, which is my favorite time of the year. And that favorite time of the year when it's cooler as well. So we had a few more months to go. Be patient. First letter from Tam Lou. Tam says, heard your program last week. Heard you imitating Asians in the way we speak. Stop it. Other than that, I love your show. For those of you who didn't listen to last week's show, to what Tam is talking about, or Mr. Lou, I had an incident. Well, not an incident. It was just a situation in a Asian restaurant, Chinese restaurant, where I was asking for honey chicken to be hooked with the honey, and it seems like when I asked for that little request, it started a big hoorah. And so the workers in the store, they start talking. I don't know if they were talking about me, but I'm pretty sure they were. And I left before I had to put my foot in somebody's ass. But they were talking, it was, I know when someone's talking about me, even though I wasn't understanding them. They was, and then the girl looked at me. I mean, come on, man. But so I left, and I was imitating the way they were talking, and I guess Mr. Lou is taking offense to that. When I first looked at that email, I was saying, well, maybe I should apologize, but I'm not apologize for what? Motherfuckers are so sensitive nowadays. And, anything, you change your color, your tie, that offends somebody. Fuck that. I'm not apologizing for shit. There's a disclaimer when the show starts that I don't mean to offend you, but if you do, that's tough shit. That's what she says is true. So, Tam, Lou, I'm not apologizing for that. They were talking and then I was imitating them. If you find it funny, that's great. If you didn't, and that's great. But I'm not apologizing for that shit. It is what it is. Get a sense of humor. I'm moving on. But I will say this before I move on, Tam. You don't like me imitating the Asians, when I was in the restaurant last week. That's fine. But how about this week? When I say, fuck y'all. Damn. Fuck y'all, Mr. Law. Fuck it. Stop it. Shit. Next letter from Karen. Karen says, I'm a Caucasian woman and I'm attracted to black men. My family doesn't know. I'm not sure how they would accept it. Advice. Well, Karen, there's going to be a lot of, if they don't agree or accept it, you have to be prepared to lose relationships with your families. I say plural because, your mother and your father's side. I've seen situations where there were mixed couples and the grandparents told the daughter, we don't want anything else to do with you. As far as we're concerned, you're dead to us. I've seen that. I've seen relationships with interracial relationships where they told the daughter, look, we know you had kids with the black guy. If you just leave them and come back home, we'll forgive that. Just leave your family and, we'll act like, nothing happened. So Karen, you have to be prepared. If your family is okay with interracial relationships, then, everything will be hunky-dory. Well, kinda. Because everyone in your family probably isn't cool with that. It'd be great, your immediate family may be cool with it. Your mother, your father, your brothers and sisters. But your cousins, there's always someone that's not exactly ready for that. So you have to be prepared for that. You have to be prepared, or how much can you take? This is a lifelong decision that you're thinking about making. My advice to you, whatever makes you happy. I know a lot of attractive women right now who liked other men from, different races, and they chose not to pursue it because of what their family might say. Unfortunately, a lot of those women are single today and they're older and what society might call old maids. So now they can't get anyone in any race, or it's far more difficult. So they're going to die alone, which is unfortunate because a lot of them are very attractive still. But, they're old now, and, they're old and alone because they were worried about what their family said. So I say, Karen, to you, do whatever makes you happy. You have to do whatever makes you happy. If your family's not happy, fuck them. I hate to say it like that. But your family is not going to be around when you're old. You know, when your mom passes away, when your dad passes away, your cousins are not there to take care of you. You know, you're going to be alone. So you have to take that attitude. If you have to make you happy. If your family not with it, fuck them. That's my advice to you. Anyway. Next one. Samantha, what is your fantasy? Samantha, that's a nice question. I have a lot of fantasies. One fantasy that I do have, I don't think I ever do this or get the opportunity. I have a fantasy where I want like 24 women from different races, white, black, Hispanic, you know, everything. And I just want to fuck all of them, you know, over like a week. You know, they'll like run a train on me. You know, when one get done, then another one comes, you know, and another one and another one. You know, we just fuck for a week long, you know. That's you know, that is one of my fantasies. If I can fulfill that fantasy, oh my goodness. That would be a great. I probably shouldn't do that because I probably really would never get married if, you know. But I'll probably do something like that when I get in the old folks' home. But that's one of my fantasies, Samantha. I just want a 24 women, a brothel, and just run a train on me, you know, back-to-back hour, you know. Here come another one. After she's finished, here come another one, back-to-back. Then we eat, you know, we stop, we eat and chat and, you know, watch movies a little while. Then we start fucking again, you know, for a week straight. So that's that's one of my fantasies anyway. All right, let's get into this week's episode. How far would you go for a potential mate? Or how far would you go to please a potential mate? How far would you go to please a potential mate? You know, relationships are, you know, they're difficult. There's a lot of people trying to get in relationships nowadays where they simply can't because they can't find the right person because of different reasons, you know, physical reasons, mental reasons, financial reasons, whatever the case may be. So, you know, it's not easy to find a girlfriend or find a boyfriend nowadays. A lot of miserable people walking around in the world. You know, people who are sexually deprived and lonely. So when they meet that right person or the person who they think is the right person, they don't want to fuck it up. And some people will literally do anything to keep that right, or, you know, that right person, or so they think. And so my question is to you, how far would you go to keep that right person? And this includes me, you know. Now, a lot of things I wouldn't think about doing just to get a woman. You know, I'm not that lonely. I'm not that desperate. But some people are. Some people are desperate and lonely enough to do whatever to keep that man or keep that woman. And they'll literally do anything. I knew a girl who had small titties, itty bitty titties, you know, the Tic Tacs. the BBs, the little bitty titties. But she was happy, and she had a boyfriend. He liked big titties, so he said, why don't you get a breast augmentation? I'll pay for it. And even though he was paying for it, she still, I really don't want to do that. I'm happy. But she ended up doing it because, she really liked this guy. He was a handsome guy. Nice job. He was what society would call a good catch. So she ended up getting these big ass titties. She went from like a B size. No, she was like an A. Or negative A. She had Tic Tacs, boy. Shit. But like a negative A. I don't know what a training bra or some shit. I don't know. But she was happy. So he made her get like a double D. But you go from a Tic Tacs and getting double D, that's a lot of shit that they put in your chest. And she wasn't happy, they looked good or whatever, but she wasn't happy. And you know what happened? They broke up. So here she was changing her body. That's something that's going to happen on a permanent basis. I mean, you can go back and get your titties back, I guess. I don't know. I guess you can get your titties back. But, that's going to be expensive. So here she is with these big ass titties for this guy who he's gone now. So what was it all for? She made this modification to her body, her physical modification for a motherfucker that's gone now. But she thought he was the one. So, to make him happy, she did this procedure. And she's not the only one. A lot of women are doing, a lot of guys are doing shit to keep women. Give you a good example. For me, now this was years ago. I don't smoke cigarettes. So, but to meet women, or, I didn't want to have an excuse for any women to get away from me. So, women that smoked, I would, I would light it up for them. I had this fancy lighter. It looked like a blowtorch or some shit. It was a really cool lighter. And, it worked. It got me a lot of, girls pull their cigarettes out and have it in their mouth. I'll light it for them. And, thank you. Thank you. That was really nice. And then, we have a conversation. The rest is history. So I had this cool lighter, I didn't smoke, but I had this lighter carrying around, when I go to bars or whatever, to light up cigarettes for women. So even though I can't stand cigarette smoke, I think it's disgusting. Your breasts stink, women, I think the smoke just goes in your body. Your pussy stinks, and your clothes, everything stinks. I hate cigarette smoke. But I was willing to do this just to get some pussy. Oh, if I light a cigarette up, I can have a conversation with her and I might can fuck her. And it worked a lot of times. But I'm just giving you an example. How far would you go? I hate cigarette smoke. I really do. I did an episode on this a while back. And I was willing to do this just to get some pussy. And I'm not the only one. And like I'm saying, everyone does it, including me. Well, I did it years ago. I wouldn't do that shit now. I couldn't be with a woman who smokes. No way. Now that I'm older now, hell no. When I was younger, yeah, I could play. Not now. No cigarettes. But a lot of people do. A lot of people are doing things just to make that potential mate or that thrill happy. Because relationships are so hard to get into. People are lonely. How far would you go? Would you try drugs to keep that other person happy? How many people that you know have tried drugs just to make this guy happy or make this girl happy? Oh, baby, take a bump. Just do it for me. How many of you have done that? Did drugs for women or men? Give you another story about me. Had this chick a while back. She's very fine. She's probably like an 8. And she had a hairy pussy too. I know this because she's a stripper, and it's a long story. I'm not gonna go that far, but we were. I was visiting her one day at her crib, and she smoked weed, and I don't smoke weed either. Never smoked weed. I never did any drugs. Never even smoked weed. So she smoked weed, and she asked me, do you want to smoke with me? And I said, no, not really. And it seems like when I said that, she, lost interest in me. You don't want to smoke? You don't want to smoke with me? You don't want to do this? And I said, no. And it got really sour. It got so sour, I ended up leaving. I said, yeah, all right, I'll catch you later. And that's the last time I saw her. So, and I don't know. If I would have smoked, I probably still wouldn't have fucked her. I don't know. But that was not something that I was willing to take a chance on. I wasn't going to compromise my disdain for drugs just to get some pussy. I wasn't going to go that far. So if she don't want to fuck me just because I want to smoke weed, then okay, I can live with it. But some people are not that way. A lot of guys would have smoked weed with her just to try to fuck her. A lot of women would have done things for a guy just to stay in good grace with that guy. Well, just take a bump. Just take one bump, baby. You'll be okay. Just eat one pill. You'll be okay. How far would you go? How far would you go? I've seen people that change religions in order to get with another, get with a guy or get with a girl. Before we get married, you have to convert. You have to convert from Catholicism to Judaism or, Islam or whatever. You have to change your religion to be with me. I know I'm just not talking out of my ass. A lot of you know people who have converted their religions just to get married. I know a few people have done that. Being Catholics all their lives or, Christians all their lives, and all of a sudden they're Muslim. Changing their religion to stay in good grace with their man or the woman. That's something I could never do. I met some women. I met some very attractive. I met this girl one time. She was an Indian, from the country India, not the native Indians. She was beautiful, and she had I don't know if she had a hairy pussy, but her legs were hairy and her arms were hairy, and she had hair on her arms. Because we went out a few times, and sometimes she put her arms up, and I seen the hair, and so if it walks like a duck, it's a duck. So she had hairy arms and hairy under her arms and hairy legs. And she had a hairy pussy, more than likely. I really liked her too. She's very smart, very clean. I mean, she was everything that I liked in a woman. But she told me, we started getting more serious. And she said, if we get together, would you be willing to, because I'm a Christian. And she asked me, would you be willing to convert your religion? I said, what? Can't believe she was asking me that, actually. But we were getting, kind of serious. And she wanted me to convert to Hindu. And I told her, no, I would never do that. I'm not converting my religion to get with you. I didn't tell her like that, but I told her no, absolutely not. No, why don't you convert? Shit, why don't you convert to mine? God damn it! So after I told her no, she said we probably couldn't be together because I have to marry a guy who's Hindu. So we should probably stop dating. I was like, okay. I really hated it because I really liked her. She was a very nice woman. And, we hadn't fucked. Let me at least get the pussy first. Damn. I didn't even get the pussy. I didn't even get no pussy. But she was right. This was years ago. But she's right. Why waste time? Because we were never going to get together. I was going to convert to a Hindu. She was going to convert to Christianity. So, she wasn't willing to get rid of her religion for me. I wasn't willing to do for her. But how many people that who are willing to change their religious preferences just to get a husband, a wife, or even a boyfriend or a girlfriend, which is ridiculous because you're not even together. You haven't said I do. And just like my friend who I knew who got her titties, after she got the big titties, they ended up breaking up. And she's sitting here with these big titties, and she's not happy. She was happy with her small Tic Tacs. So ask the question, how far would you go? How far would you go to change yourself in order to stay in good graces with a potential man that you're going to spend the rest of your life with, or potential woman that you're going to spend the rest of your life with? How far would you go? What would you change in your life? What is too far? I think it is something like, if you really have to change yourself for a person, and I told my friend this guy that like big titties, if he wants you to change your titties, that's a bad sign. That's a bad sign already. He's not liking the way you are. He's not liking you for yourself. He wants you with big titties. That's a bad sign. She didn't listen. She got him anyway. Now she's unhappy. All about Billy Joel. Billy Joel said, love you the way you are. Whatever he said, you know what I'm talking about, that song. Shit. love you the way you are. So why would you, if a person is digging you truly, why would you have to change? I think that is the first thing you should ask yourself before you change anything, before getting with someone. It's not worth it. Not to me. It's not worth it to change yourself just to get with someone. It's not that much loneliness in the world for you to compromise your inner feelings, your inner beliefs, your physical appearance for another motherfucker. Because if you have to change yourself or alter yourself for someone to be happy or someone to be pleased, that's not a good sign. They should love the way you are. So it took me years to realize this, you get older, you get more wiser. So that woman that I was in an apartment and she got, she lost interest because I wouldn't smoke weed with her. Then she wasn't for me anyway. It wasn't a big deal. I didn't want to do drugs. So I'm going to do drugs because she said it's okay to do it. She wanted me to do it with her. No. And that's what society should do. Society should stop trying to please others and changing themselves to please others. That's a big problem in society. A lot of people walking around trying to be accepted. And they'll do anything to be accepted. So, how far would you go? How far would you go to please a potential mate? Would you change your religion? Would you change your physical appearance? Would you change your belief on drugs? Would you get a vaccine for a potential mate? That's going around now. People, they don't date people. If you're not vaccinated, I don't want to date you. So that's another thing you have to think about now. Would you get if you don't believe in vaccinations or you don't believe in the coronavirus vaccinations, what if you meet someone who wants you to get vaccinated? What would you do? Oh, okay. Well, she's nice, so I'll get the vaccine for her. How far would you go just to please someone else? And like I said before, if you have to please or change yourself just to please someone else and make them happy, that's a bad sign. That's a bad sign. If they don't like you the way you are, then you should probably move on. Save yourself a lot of trouble. Don't change yourself to please somebody else. Because you're good the way you are. If they don't like you, fuck them. Find somebody else who does. Find somebody else who doesn't require you to do drugs with them. Well, they shouldn't be doing drugs anyway, but someone who doesn't want you to do drugs with them, or someone who doesn't require you to change your titties or get calf implants if you're a guy or some shit, or shave your facial hair, or someone who requires you to change your religion to get with them. Is it worth it? What would you do? That concludes another episode of the X and Y Show. I hope you really enjoyed it. And be sure to check me out. New episodes released weekly. I'm on pretty much every platform that you would go to. I'm on iHeart. I'm on Spotify. Apple, Stitcher, everywhere pretty much. I'm also on the Podbreed Network, so check it out. There's a lot of other indie programs that are very nice as well. I'm also on social media. I'm on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can find all of that on my website, which is www.thexyshow.com. So be sure to subscribe to me. I would really appreciate it. And show me that you really love Roosevelt. I know you do. So that concludes another episode of the XY Show. And I want you always to remember that you cannot have love without X and Y. Later.
You've been listening to The X and Y Show with your host, Roosevelt Colbert, the place where real relationship issues are talked about and addressed. Join us next time. You can now put your clothes back on, or not.